Good morning. I am very delighted to have you here. I guess you're having a wonderful time while staying at home. So good to have you here. This class and lesson will be a 3-in-1 lesson. That's to say, it is for the JSS 1, 2, and 3 of students of the Redeemer International Schools. My name is Mr. Ubong Linus, your music teacher. For JSS1, we will be looking at musical notes and their values, and musical rest and their values. First, I will start by defining musical notes as musical sounds represented in the writing by special symbols called notes. The musical notes are of various shapes, values, duration, or length. Types of musical notes. There are 6 principal notes which are commonly used nowadays. On your screen, you will see a chart, a table. Number 1, you see a semi-brief. Number 2, a minimum, a crotchet, a quaver, a semi-quaver, and demi-semi-quaver. You will still see the American names. It is either you call it semi-brief or you call it whole note. It's either you call it minimum or you call it half note. It's either you call it crotchet or quarter note, quaver or eighth note, semi-quaver or 16th note, demi-semi-quaver or 32nd note. Then next you will see their symbols. Do well to study the symbols very well. Then the last you see your values. For semi-brief, it's 1. For minimum, it is 1, 2. For crotchet, it is 1, 4. For quaver, it is 1/8. For semi-quaver, it is 1/16. For demi-semi-quaver, it is 1/32. We move on to musical notes with stems. On your screen, you will see a 3 note. Those 3 notes are not the same. You can spot out their differences. Notice the position of the stems. You will observe that the stems of the notes can point upwards or downwards if placed on a staff. This depends on the position of the notes on the staff. As a rule in music, notes which lie below the 3rd line of the staff have their stems pointing upwards and placed after them. That is at the right side of the note. I will take that again. In music, as placed after them. That is at the right side of the note. I will take that again. In music, as a rule, notes which lie below the 3rd line of the staff have their stems pointing upwards and placed after them. This is at the right side of the note. You see that on your screen. You see that the notes, they are all pointed upwards because they have not passed the 3rd line, which is the middle line. All these notes lie below the 3rd line of the staff. Their stems point upwards. Because they have not passed the 3rd line. On the other hand, next on our screen, you observe that the notes are pointed downwards because they have passed the 3rd line, which is the middle line. On the other hand, notes which lie above the 3rd line of the staff have their stems pointing downwards and placed in front of the note. That is at the left side of the note. You can see that on your screen. Notice the position of the stems of all the notes above the 3rd line of the staff. They all point downwards. However, notes on the 3rd line of the staff have their stems up and down. depending on how the notes progress on the stave. You can see that on your screen. You see that some notes are pointed down, some are pointed up, because the ones pointed down, they have passed the middle line, the middle third line. Now, very important, the note on the third line, you can decide whether to point it upward or downward. You have the liberty to point it upward or downward. Duration of the beats, of the notes in beats. Duration of the notes in beats. The mathematical values of these musical notes can be reckoned in beats. For example, the semibreve is a whole note and contains 4 crotchet beats. All the notes are reckoned in relation to the whole note, semibreve. You can see that on the third chart, on the chart on your screen. The first, you see the semibreve. It has 4 beats. It has 4 beats. The next one is the minimum. It has 2 beats. The next one is the crotchet. It has 1 beat. The next one is the quiver. It has 1-2 beats. The semiquiver has the 1-4 beat. The demi-semiquiver has 1-8 beat. Study the chart very well. We move on to relationship of musical notes. Relationship of musical notes. The musical notes are related with one another. For example, take note of this. A semibreve contains 2 minims, 4 crotchets, 8 quavers, 16 semiquavers, and 32 demi-semiquavers. I will take that again. A semibreve contains 2 minims, 4 crotchets, 8 quavers, 16 semiquavers, and 32 demi-semiquavers. Please take note of that. The next one, a minimum. It contains 2 crotchets, 4 quavers, 8 semiquavers, and 16 demi-semiquavers. I'll take that again. A minimum contains 2 crotchets, 4 quavers, 8 semiquavers, and 16 demi-semiquavers. We move on to the next one, which is crotchet. A crotchet contains 2 quavers, 4 semiquavers, and 8 demi-semiquavers. I'll take that again quickly. Crotchet contains 2 quavers, 4 semiquavers, and 8 demi-semiquavers. We move on to a quiver. A quiver contains 2 semiquavers and just 4 demi-semiquavers. We move on to semiquiver. A semiquiver contains 2 semiquavers only. On your screen, you will see the chart. The chart is called a musical tree. A musical tree. The first above is called a semibreve. With that, you will see that 2 minimum makes up a semibreve. 2 crotchet makes up a minimum. 4 crotchets makes up a semibreve. 2 quavers makes up a crotchet. 2 semiquavers makes up a quiver. Study the chart very well. The diagram is a true representation of diagram. 4 crotchets, 8 quavers, 16 semiquavers, and 32 demi-semiquavers. Take note of the diagram and study them very well. If you find it difficult to understand this, you can go through this video over and over again so you do well to understand. Thank you very much for watching this video. I remain Ubong Linus. your music feature. Have a wonderful day and stay safe.